Hello, 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 and welcome once again to Celebrity and Variety Talk Show with Josie Latimer. Today, my topic again is about A.J. Armstrong Jr. for the double murder of his parents, uh, A.J. Armstrong Sr. and Dawn Armstrong. My topic today is I'm going back on a previous video. I said uh, that I didn't know that AJ's brother, oldest brother, was not the biological blood of AJ Armstrong Sr. So this leads me to kind of think a little more into the story. Um, but everything is still pointing towards AJ Armstrong from looking at the court case, listening to the DA, and all the evidence that's being presented. First of all, the first day that it happened, AJ Armstrong, I think it happened before day in the morning. AJ Armstrong called the 911. When he called, the cops said he was emotionless, no emotions at all. Uh, this is what's leading me personally to believe the DA at this particular point in the case. Things can turn, but right now it's leading to an inside job that's being presented by the evidence in the case. Because after he called the cops and they picked up that he had no emotions, they picked up some vibes and energy for him, and they had to because they took him in and he was in juvenile for about 8 or 9 months until his grandparents got him out. Everyone tends to want to believe the kid. At that time, he was 16 because this was 3 years ago, but the judge wanted to wait and try him as an adult for the double murder of his parents, his loving parents. The child at that time had no emotions at all. And what evidence I saw that would make me feel that it was an inside job and it possibly could have been A.J. Armstrong Jr. is when the cops asked him, "Have you ever touched that gun?" He said, "No." He said, "No." Why didn't you say yes if you know they're going to find a bullet hole in your room? So they went up to his room, third floor, and they saw the bullet hole. Well, how can a bullet hole from the same gun be in your room if you never touched it? Then he says yes. And then they found socks covering the bullet hole. So what are you trying to hide? I mean, sometimes kids can think they're too smart for their own good because this evidence that's being presented is leading to it being an inside job. The alarm system didn't go off. The motion detector showed someone coming down the stairs where the note was left in the kitchen. If it was an intruder, intruders, when they come in your home, they're coming in to kill. They're coming in to rob. They're coming in to destroy, not just kill. And if you see them with a mask, they're going to shoot you too. They're going to shoot anything and they're going to take the gun with them just in case somebody else come behind them and they'll turn around and shoot them too. They're not going to go in the kitchen and leave a gun on the counter and a little note. Not an intruder. They don't have time for that. So why would an intruder come in anyone's house and not rob or do anything? If they wanted to kill this celebrity couple, they could have went to their gym. They could have waited for them to come home. They didn't have to put their life at risk of going in the property knowing that possibly there are other people inside that they could get killed. So it just tends to, you know, evidence. Then they said the alarm system, because the parents upgraded that alarm system to a higher tech level, and the child could hardly open the alarm system to let the cops in. It was armed. Inside it was stay, which means everything was inside. So if anyone, including his brother, that they are accusing now, if it was his brother, then that detector would have detected someone coming into the property. They said the detector, the motion detector, showed motion coming down the stairs into the kitchen, which is where the gun was placed with the note and a little ink pen with no DNA. They also said that there was time lapse, that he had time to clean all the evidence away. And then gloves, you can flush the gloves. Gloves can be flushed. Now, but my thing is, did A.J. Armstrong Jr. kill his parents alone? Or was it someone else? Because you only have two hands. And to put a pillow over someone over here and then shoot them twice, which was his father, then to come over here and shoot someone, it seems as though when you're shooting someone on this side, the other person over here will wake up before you could put the pillow over there. So this is the mystery about the story. Did he do it alone? And that gun is some form of evidence also because of the fact that it was left behind. So only someone that knows that gun or in that environment would leave that gun behind, not an intruder. It definitely couldn't have been an intruder, especially if the alarm didn't go off to wake up everybody. And an intruder would not possibly go into a property like that knowing that it's armed, unless they disarmed it or did some damage to the system, which there was no damage because the system, he had to disarm it to let the cops in. So, intruder, I don't buy that. Collaboration with someone else helping you do the murder, I can buy that. Or you did it all alone. Now, when A.J. Armstrong made that call with no emotions, and at the end he said, "It's all my fault," it wouldn't be any fault of mine unless I had something to do with it. The only way you're going to say it's all your fault, or anyone say it's my fault because they had some involvement in it, whether they did it, whether someone else did it with them, but it's all my fault. How could it be all your fault? Unless you did it, unless you knew who did it, unless you did it with someone. That again was evidence that was leading towards A.J. Armstrong Jr. It's all my fault. Okay, you lie about the gun, you say it's all your fault, it's no emotions, the alarm didn't go off, the little note in the kitchen, when an intruder don't have time to be scribbling no notes. And if they saw you, as you said, you saw an intruder with a mask on, they will shoot you and kill you. And then another thing, up at 1 a.m. in the morning when everyone else is asleep, prowling around the property, the house inside, saying the door was cracked and they normally keep it closed. Well, why are you tipping and dipping and peeping and watching their door? You say you heard the gunshots and you was in the closet, then you went out and the door was cracked. It was just all kind of little stuff that just didn't add up. And then you're going to see an intruder. If someone was after them for some reason, then they could have went to their gym. They had a very high class gym in a high profile area. They could have waited on them like these burglars doing everybody else out here in Houston and got them like that. It definitely wasn't home invasion robbery because they didn't steal anything. So even if it was someone, they said something about the father possibly being in some kind of drug prostitution ring. Even if he was, those people have many other ways to get you than intruding your property, especially knowing that you have alarm systems and that you're well protected at your property. They're not going to risk themselves. They would rather risk at the business and wait for you to get in your car. If they wanted to kill you just to kill you and not to rob you. They didn't rob. No one took anything out of that property, which leads towards AJ Jr. And if they wanted to kill him, they could kill him anywhere. It didn't have to be there to break into a house that time of the morning. So was it because this child was upset because his dad had told the coach that his grades had fallen and he was going to go to Lamar, another school, and he wasn't going to have the status that he had because of the grades? He was a star player at Kincaid, the other school, and then now you're not a star, and you possibly could have been embarrassed that you couldn't live up to the expectations for your parents, because I'm quite sure they probably did put a lot of pressure on the child to keep him up to par, to try to make him be somebody big and famous like his dad played pro ball. And sometimes pressure can be a lot on a child. Or the child could have gotten involved in drugs. You get kids that get involved in all kind of drugs, and they can smile just like I'm doing. You would never know it. Like they say, don't let the smile fool you sometimes. They can smile and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and steady have drugs in their system that can trigger their mind to do something stupid. But as I said, it was no robbery. But now the bookkeeper did say that the parents had a lot of money in the living trust fund. So could it have been him and his brother for the money? I wouldn't want to think of them as the Mendez brothers for no money for the parents. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, it seemed like it could have been more than one person. I mean, what do you think? Did A.J. Armstrong Jr. kill his parents alone, or did he have help? Now, the brother's girlfriend said he was there with her, but she went to bed at 10 o'clock. There was still time. But you know what? There are cameras in that neighborhood, and they're going to search and they're going to find. The cameras in that neighborhood will let you know if he left that house, that brother Josh left his apartment, which was 2 blocks away, and went over there to help AJ or to do it alone. Now, I know he didn't do it alone, and the reason why, because even if he did it alone, AJ would have known his brother's vibes and movements through a mask, through a mask. So this brother didn't go there and do it because there was no open doors from the alarm system. Nobody came in and nobody went out. The motion detector shows someone coming from upstairs to the kitchen, down the stairs. So all the evidence leads to AJ Jr. in the property, really, basically. And I'm just praying for those grandparents, because I know you don't want to think that. No one wants to think that. The Mendez brothers' parents didn't want to think it either, or wouldn't have never thought it. But no one knows until all this truth unfolds. This is what I'm talking about now, is what I've seen, the evidence from the DA. I've seen all this. So please click like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to end my show, and I'll come back with more because I have a call I have to take. Bye. Josie speaking.